Welcome to Hatha Yoga. Let's go ahead and join each other sitting down comfortably. And as we take a seat, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of rubbing up and down in the legs. And bring the bottoms of your feet closer together and then stimulate the arches of your feet. As you're rubbing your legs and massaging your feet, just start to look around the room to bring yourself into the present time. Noticing what your eyes are detecting and the feel of your hands. And then let's go ahead and sit comfortably with the legs. If you need additional support, please go ahead and find that for yourself. And then a little bit of seated cat-cow, little chakravakasana, coming back and forth a few times. Moving the awareness up and down the spine, noticing how that feels today. And then some looping of the shoulders, moving them up, back, and around. And then one forward, one back, add a little rotation to the rib cage. And then take the hands out in front of you, circle at the wrists and the hands. Try to open up your fingers. And then pressing forward and back a few times, contracting and opening the hands, getting the juices flowing, getting things warmed up. And then shake out the shoulders, shake out the hands. Give yourself a little wiggle, wiggle. And then the hands coming together generate some heat. And then set the focal point right out in front of you, more at like a half gaze. And bring your hands on the heart. And if it feels safe for you to close your eyes, do so. Feeling the energy penetrate coming into the heart, the energetic heart center. Feeling the breath underneath your hands. And is there an intention you'd like to set for the practice today? A word, an image, a feeling? And coming home to this focal point from time to time throughout the practice. Deepening your breath, bring your breathing into Ujjayi, that audible whisper sound, which is slightly heating. And just start to be aware of the breath as you fill your lungs. Then the belly starts to receive the inhale. And then on the exhale, draw the belly towards the spine and feel yourself emptying from the base upward. Let's take 4 or 5 more mindful breaths with Ujjayi, noticing and feeling and experiencing the breath. Breathing from the top down and breathing from the bottom up. Feel that flexibility building in each new breath. Where you're able to breathe in just a little deeper and maybe let go a little bit more. And then opening your eyes, let's join each other on our hands and our knees. Give yourself ample padding there. And as we come onto the hands and the knees, bring the shoulders underneath, or bring your shoulders rather over the hands. And tuck the toes under, sit your feet down, and the hips come back. And then breathe in, come forward, bear a little more weight into the palms and the wrists and the fingers. And just do this back and forth as a warm up for the hands and the feet. all to your comfort level. So we may be a little more sensitive in one area. Just be mindful of not overdoing. And then let's add some motion and movement to the spine as well. When you come forward, lift the chin. Bring the shoulders back, and then exhale, draw the chin in as you sit straight back towards the heels. This little mini Chakravakasana. One more time. And then when you sit back, walk your hands over to the left off of the edge of the mat, and you could be on the tops of the feet or keep those toes tucked. Give yourself about 3 breaths. Do a little C shape, feeling the right ribs open. Come forward and let's go over to the other side. Sitting towards the heels and feeling that lateral opening along the left side of the ribs. Chin in just a little bit. And then breathe in, come forward, bring your hands back around. Take your right foot, the top of the foot, put it in the arch of the left foot, and then sit back until you feel a little bit of pressure there through the arch of the left foot and maybe through the top of the right. Press with your hands, give it about 3 or 4 breaths. Chin in, long spine. A little squeeze at the organs to help with digestion. Pull with your arms, come forward, and switch. Now bringing the top of the left foot into the arch of the right, and then sit back again. Pressing with the hands gently, just to increase some of that weight bearing. And then breathe in, come forward, bring the feet parallel to each other. Knees come in a little closer, and then wag your hips to the left, look over the left shoulder. Give yourself 3 breaths. Let those hips go to the left as you're looking over behind you. And then swing your hips to the right, look over the right shoulder. Hands pressing firmly into the floor so you're not sinking down into the wrists. Or if that's uncomfortable, you can come up onto your knuckles to create space there. And then come on back into neutral. And let's do a little more of that Chakravakasana. You could add a rounding in the back, similar to cat-cow. Get into some kind of flow. Next time we come forward, let's stay forward, widen out the knees, but keep the big toes together so you're in a diamond shape with your legs. Come on down to the forearms. Palms facing up, elbows under the shoulders, and then spread out your hands. Spread out your fingers. Push down through the forearms as though you're standing on your forearms. So as you push down through the forearms, bring the shoulder blades towards the hips. Make a fist with the hands, and then exhale, curl the back of your hand away from the floor. Let's stay there for about 3 breaths. Feeling that stretch come into the forearm, the top part of the wrist and hand. Chin in a little bit, noticing the length of the spine. And then bring the chin back to neutral. Open up the hands, climb up. Take your hands, so now that the middle finger is facing the outer long edge of your mat. And then lean over to one side and then go over to the other side. Just a little bit back and forth. And be real mindful not to push through pain. So easy does it with that, especially if you've been working through injury or if you have carpal tunnel or you work with your hands quite a bit. Let's do that one more time on each side. Back and forth here. And the neutral, bring your knees in, come up a little higher, and then take your fingertips onto the floor. The thumbs are up. I'll turn this way so you have a better visual. And then press with your thumbs up until you feel the stretch coming into your hands. Little bend in the elbows. And you're holding yourself up using the core. So you use your belly to draw it back towards the spine. It'll also help warm up your legs. If you'd like to come forward for a bigger stretch throughout the forearm, you're welcome to come down towards the floor. It doesn't have to come to the floor, but it could come towards the floor. If your palms are down, push down so that, again, you're not collapsing in those bones in your hands and wrists. And then peel back. Come on up to stand on your knees and circle your hands and wrists around. And then arms down, and let's connect breath and movement again. Breathe in, arms come up, look up. Press your hands together, exhale, bring your hands down, follow with your gaze. Breathing in, arms up. If you're just joining us, welcome. Exhale, bringing it down. A few more. Feel those sensations like we did in our check-in of the breath filling you from the top down, the inhale rather, and then the exhale from the bottom up. One more time. Pause here at the heart, then open the hands, press forward, and turn your fingers down. So it's kind of like you're creating a little beak with your hands, feeling this come back into the top of the forearm and the wrists. Open up your hands so your middle finger's facing up, and you're pressing like you're doing chaturanga, you're doing a plank shape. Shoulders down, chest up. And then bring the hands back behind you, your palms facing each other. Squeeze between your shoulder blades, lifting the chest high. If you'd like to clasp your hands or hold a strap, you're welcome to. Let's enjoy about 5 more focused breaths. And exhale, let that go. Roll the shoulders up and around. And now if you have blocks or books, bring them so that they're to each side of you, face the long edge of your mat. And let's bring the right foot out to the side. So as your right foot comes out, the foot is slightly forward in front of the knee. Hands are on the hips, and then gently move and flow from left to right. If the knee goes past the toes, as long as there's no pain, that's okay. But if you're experiencing pain, try to bring your foot out in front of your knee more. Try to find the angle that best serves. Also, another way you could decrease some of that weight in your hips is you could bring your hands down onto the blocks or to the floor as you're going back and forth instead of being up vertical in a vertical shape. One more time. And then let's add some stay. Shift your body weight forward to the right. Bring your right forearm down and your left arm up. And let's add some flow. A tip, sit your hips to the left so it doesn't grab around the right side of your low back, around that quadratus lumborum, the QL, that attaches the ribs to the sacrum and the hips. And some mindful flow, opening up the chest, opening up the shoulders. Keep sitting your hips to the left. And then let's stay here. Reach up and over. Spread open through your left hand. Bring the shoulders down and rotate the ribs and the chest towards the sun. Let's give it about 3 more focused breaths. Long open spine, lean back with your head a little bit. Bringing yourself up, and then exhale, walk this right foot out in front of you. And let's bring the blocks to the inside of the front foot. You may need to make a little bit of an adjustment there with the left knee. And then the forearms come down towards the blocks. Have the tall setting at first, chin in. Sit your hips back and up, giving yourself some breath here. Let the chin come in, the head a little heavy so it starts to lengthen, open the back of your neck. Come on up to your hands once again, and let's use our toes to inch the right foot forward and lower the hips forward until you're in a lunge. Hands can stay down onto the blocks or maybe up onto that front leg, or if you'd like to bring them up in the air, you can, depending on how much energy you want to exert here. About 4 more focused breaths. Give a little hug in through this left hip and press down through that right leg. On the exhale, bring your hands back down, sit your hips back, and let's set our blocks to each side of the front leg. Sit your hips back until you feel that lengthen through the back of your right leg. Pulling toes towards the knee. And you're welcome to stay more upright, especially if you have stuff going on in your spine. Stay upright with the chin slightly tucked. If you want a little flexion in the low back, walk your hands further forward, closer towards your foot. Sitting that right hip back, and then notice if you're using your abdominals here. Draw the belly up towards the spine, and let's keep it there. And then to come out of the pose smoothly, however you best can, bring that right knee underneath you, adapt, adjust, and then let's bring that left foot out to the side. Having the heel underneath the toe or heel underneath the knee. And then shift body weight left and right. Making any adjustments. And if you get curious, notice what happens when you start to adjust the left foot. Especially as your hips and your hamstrings start to warm up. And then staying down in the lunge, bring your left forearm down and right arm up. Opening through the chest, bringing the shoulders down. And then if you'd like a little flow, start moving the right arm, all to your comfort. Shifting your hips to the right. So again, go back to lengthening the spine. You don't have to tuck your tailbone under. The hips can actually sit back just a little bit. One or two more breaths. We'll add that stay to our side gate, opening it up in Parigasana. Spiraling open the heart. And breathe in, come on up. Exhale, walk this left foot around. And then taking the blocks to the inside of the front foot, sitting your hips straight back. And then optional to come down onto the forearms, releasing the head down, chin in just a little bit. Keep sitting your tailbone up and your hips back. Great connection point here to your intention. If you set one today, what was that word or image or energy? That point of mindfulness. Come up to your hands and let's adjust with your toes. So just kind of walk your foot using your toes forward and then spill right hip forward, coming into lunge. How deep you want to experience that, just like we did in the previous position, just kind of ease into it. Is it breathable? The hands can stay down or up on the thigh. Or again, if you want a little more Brahmana, a little more energizing, maybe bringing the arms up or one arm up. And exhale, forward fold, sit your hips back, lift your toes from the floor, flexing the foot, coming into Ardha Hanumanasana, half monkey. Blocks can come in closer or farther away. Pin the left heel as you sit back. And then ease on out. You could slide the foot underneath, adjust the blocks, Swing it out and under, however you can come back to your knees. And then bring your hands down onto the floor. Come back to our Chakravakasana flow, sitting back on the exhale. Inhale, pulling as you look forward. And if you'd like to stay with Chakravakasana, please do. And if you want to come more into maybe a downward facing dog, and maybe through into an upward dog. So choosing what's right for you. And on the next exhale, set the knees down, sit back into child's pose. Give yourself 3 breaths. Shift your body weight forward, shoulders over the hands. Exhale, bend the elbows, keeping them parallel towards the floor. Then breathe in, start to straighten out the arms. And let's do that 5 more times. On the exhale, dip the elbows down, chin in. So you have a nice long spine from crown to pelvis. And on the exhale, dip down. Shoulder blades pull towards the hips. One more time. And then set your knees back behind you. Exhale, come down to the belly. Hands underneath your forehead. Give yourself 3 breaths. Bringing the legs in to a comfortable distance apart. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your middle fingers facing forward. Shoulders pull away from the floor so you're wide and open in the chest. We'll be alternating the leg lifts as we come up into little baby cobras. So as you breathe in, lift the chest, raise the left leg up as high as you comfortably can. And exhale, come back down. Keep the chest open. Breathe in, raise the right leg, lift the chest. Exhale, come down. Alternating lefts and rights. Try to keep the legs straight. One more on each leg. And keeping your feet down, come forward into Sphinx. Forearms parallel, hands out in front of you. And depending on what's happening in your lower back, you could have your hands further forward or closer in. Pull with your arms so you feel like you're pulling your chest forward and through. And we'll stay here meditating on our connection to breath or whatever dedication you set. Lengthen out your low back. Use your glutes to pull the tailbone towards your feet. Lower body very active. And exhale, come on down. Bend your knees and let your feet go left and right a few times. Roll out over the thighs. And then extend the legs. Hands beside you, lift yourself up and sit back into that child's pose shape. Knees open or closed, hands forward or back. Breathing into your low back. Focus your attention there. And smoothly, slowly bring your head up. Let's wait a couple breaths. You can stand on the shins or the knees or sit back towards the feet. Give yourself 3 breaths here. And then join me in standing. Moving your blanket off to the side if you have something underneath your knees, and have props close at hand. Standing in mountain pose, feet underneath the hips. Unlock the knees, especially if you tend to kind of push your hips back, lock the knees. Bring the tailbone down a little bit. Unlock the knees and squeeze between the legs. Shoulders back, crown lifting up. One arm at a time. Breathe in. Raise your left arm up. We're going to add a rotation here. Exhale, bend the elbow, look to the right. Return the head to neutral. Right arm comes up on the inhale. Exhale, bend the elbow, look left. Alternating. And when we've completed on that right side, return your head back into neutral, roll the shoulders up, back and around again. Pick a focal point straight out in front of you. Breathe in, raise both arms. Optional to lift your heels up for balance. And then exhale, lower the heels, bend the knees, and bring the hands back, open the chest. Breathing in, raising the heels, optional, arms up. Then exhale, bend the knees, pull the belly in as you bring the arms behind you. Whoop. One more time. Adding a forward fold, breathe in, lift up. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the knees, blocks, or to the floor. Take 3 breaths here in Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Bend the knees so that your belly and chest come closer to your legs. Bend the knees even more. Breathe in, come up, hands up the legs or extension. Exhale, bring the hands down. Coming into flamingo, stand with your legs a little closer together. You may want to go to a wall or a piece of furniture to give you a little more support. Standing on the right leg, bend the left knee, bring your left knee up. You could put a strap around the knee if you'd like. Bring the shoulders back and or clasp hands in front of the knee or at the hamstrings behind the knee. Balancing on that right foot. Hips sit back a little bit. Try not to push the pelvis forward. Sit the tailbone back a bit for counterbalance. One or two more breaths. On the exhale, release. Give yourself a breath. Change the second side. So if you're using the wall or a chair, turn so the other side can hold on, and then bring the right knee up. Another tip, don't lock the left knee back. Bend the left knee a little bit so you're using the muscles instead of hanging in the joints. Sit this right hip down just a little bit and the tailbone back slightly. Steady at one focal. Two or three more breaths. Anytime if you'd like to step down, you're welcome to. And on the exhale, bringing your foot down smoothly underneath you, hands together, give yourself a breath. Turn to face the long edge of your mat and take blocks or a chair or something in front of you, depending on how flexible you are on the back line of your body, and then turn your toes out. Stepping your feet apart, we're going to come into some core work here from a standing sequence. So bend your knees to your comfort and find that position that's best for you. Sometimes toes forward feels better, sometimes rotating the feet out. And then bring your arms around with your fingertips touching, and the hands are about chest height. On the exhale, rotate to the right. Breathe in, come back to center, and breathe out, rotate to the left. Anytime, you're welcome to straighten the legs. Anytime, you're welcome to dip down lower. Press the outside of your knees outward. After we've completed evenly, breathe in, stand yourself up, raise your arms up. 3 breaths. Exhale, bring the arms down. Dial your feet parallel. So in this next sequence, we'll be adding that rotation. And let's just start to feel that here. Bring your hands on your hips and feel for turning your pelvis. Noticing what that feels like. If you're more visual, you can watch me do the first sequence of Parvriti Trikonasana, which is a evolved twisting triangle, where you start with your arms out, and on the exhale, right hand down, sit back, and then rotate. So my left hand's on my hip, opening it up. Then breathe in, bend the knees to stand up. And exhale, bend your knees, bring your right hand down, and spinal twist. Bend your knees, come up. And continue to go. If you want to stay more upright, you're welcome to. If you want to come to the knee instead of down to the block, you're welcome to. So find what's working for you, what's most accessible. You don't have to think about it so much, that you can connect inside to your breath and your intention. You can slow down the pacing if I'm going too fast, or pick it up. And after we've practiced evenly, let's come into Prasarita. Hands can come down, or if you'd like to take the hands behind you, draw the shoulder blades in, and then come forward, you're welcome to. Again, what is most accessible? If you're using a chair, you could have your hands on the chair. Exhale, bring the hands down to the chair or to the blocks. Lift yourself halfway up. Turn your toes out and then shift your hips over to the left, and let's stay here. Chin in, long spine. And then exhale, bend the right knee. Shift your hips to the right, straightening the left leg. It's a variation of Skandasana. Hips are up and sitting back. And come back to the first side. And back to the second side. Come back to neutral. Rotate your left foot out even more now. Take the left block over and then rotate your right foot. We're coming into side angle, bringing the left hand optional on the block, forearm on the thigh, or even hand up onto the knee, and then bring the right arm up and over. Centering our focus. And exhale smoothly with your breath. Swivel and pivot. Right foot out, left toes in, and then take that right block over to the inside of the front foot, hand or forearm on the thigh, and left arm up and over. Coming into Parsvakonasana, extended side angle stretch. Bending that right knee, bringing it forward over the heel if you can. Experiment. And exhale, make your way back to neutral, our Prasarita Padottanasana. Walk the feet in. Let's bring them under the hips. Bend your knees. Inhale, stand up. And exhale, unite the hands at the heart. 3 breaths in, Samastitihi. Breathe in, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold either to the knees, blocks, or to the floor. Bend your knees, staying here in Uttanasana a few breaths. Belly scoops up. Chin in a little bit. And bend your knees, stand yourself back up. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Let's transition by sitting comfortably on your mat or on a chair if you'd like for a little breath practice before we come down onto our back called Pratiloma Ujjayi. And so I'll describe it just for a moment for you. We'll have in the center of alternate nostril breathing a round of Ujjayi. So you'll be alternating between nasal breath and Ujjayi, and I'll do my best to describe it, keep it real simple. The sealing of each nostril, we'll use each hand. So just take a moment, settle into your new shape of being seated somewhere. Nice long spine. Taking your right thumb, seal your right nostril, breathe in through the left nostril. Nasal breath. Breathe out through the left nostril. Release your hand, a round of Ujjayi. Breathe in with that audible whisper and out with the audible whisper. Left hand, left thumb seals. Breathe in, nasal breath through the right side. And out through the right side. Hands down, a round of Ujjayi. Right thumb seals, breathe in and out left side. After the exhale, hand down, a round of Ujjayi. Left thumb seals, around through the right side. Hand down, a round of Ujjayi. Around through the left side, right thumb sealing. A round of Ujjayi. Sealing with the left thumb, around through the right side. Last round of Ujjayi in our pranayama, Pratiloma Ujjayi. Staying with Ujjayi, transition onto your back. Once you arrive on your back, let's start with our knees up towards our chest. And a little bit of Apanasana. As you exhale, bring the thighs in close, and on the inhale, move them away. Emphasizing the pulling in of your core, your abdominals, every time you breathe out. One more round. Feet coming down, you could find the outer edges of your mat or have your feet together, arms into a T shape. Jatahara Parivriti Parshva, which is our spinal twist. So as you exhale, let the knees go to the left, look to the right. And let's stay here a few breaths. You're welcome to take the left ankle up onto the right thigh and adjust the arms. Centering your focus. Wait for your exhale to transition back to neutral. Bring in a big, long, fluid inhale. And exhale, Jatahara Parivriti Parshva on the second side. Let the knees fall over to the right, looking left. And on the exhale, come on back into center. One last round of Apanasana, hands on the legs. On the exhale, bring it in. On the inhale, expand and move it away. Really drawing in the navel, extra cleansing for the organs. And relaxation. Seated relaxation, reclined relaxation, or maybe you'd like to be prone to the mat, coming onto your belly, finding a place where you can rest and digest. Doing a little body scan, relaxing the jaw, the tongue, the eyes. Letting the breath come back into its home base, a natural flow. If you'd like to stay longer, please continue to rest as long as you would like to. If you're ready to sit with me, taking a few moments to come back upright. If you're sitting with me, taking a few breaths. Being present in the moment. Bringing your hands on your heart, taking a few moments and a few deep breaths, connecting with what makes you smile, what's uplifting and what feels good. This could be something that you set the intention with for the practice today, or maybe something else comes to your heart mind. Letting whatever that is stay within your heart center. Connecting with it as needed when you live your life off the mat today. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. Blessings to all of you.